Dieser kommt aus Stockport, England. Die aktuelle Nummer 9 der Welt. Ein World Grand Prix und Premier League Finalist. Und der frühere UK Open Champion. Wir begrüßen The Asp, Nathan Aspinall. Außerdem begrüßen wir auf der Bühne unseren Referee für die nächsten beiden Viertelfinals. Und das ist der Kirkulator, Kirk Bevins.
Let's get it on then. Quarterfinal number 3 on a night that sees 3 UK Open champions go at it. One of them has been eliminated in Danny Noppert, so he is gone. Nathan Aspinall, a former champion, up against the current UK Open champion in Andrew Gilding. So what will happen in the bottom half of the draw here for the 2023 German Darts Grand Prix? A little bit of a different approach at the start of this one as Kirk Bevins, our referee, and Aspinall exchange a few pleasant words. But as he always does, Dan, it's Andrew Gilding just plodding along, doing his thing.
Yes, Nathan certainly seems to be in a gregarious mood this evening. Andrew Gilding unchanged from how we've seen him, well, for all time, to be honest. But today, he's already taken out the number 4 seed Dave Chisnell, now winner on the European Tour in Kiel at the start of the year. That was his first victory against Chiz in nearly 8 years. And it is a repeat meeting, of course, of when Gilding was beaten in the final of the European Tour event in Belgium. And reaching a Eurotour final is something that Gilding has done, and Nathan Aspinall has not, despite reaching the semi-finals of Eurotour events 5 times. 3 of them last year. He's here for Kirk Bevins.
He spelt George Noble wrong.
Yeah. There's no mistaking Kirk and George Noble, surely.
No, they've got the same uniform on tonight, that's for sure.
They do.
And right now, those shorts that Kirk Bevins owns are the most expensive. Well, it's the most expensive piece of clothing he actually has now.
Yes. I mean, I should add, that is an expensive outfit. Although I don't think it's a particularly high bar it has to beat where Mr. Bevins is concerned.
Well, you make a good point about Nathan, actually, because when it comes to quarterfinals in European Tour events, his hit rate is something he will not be pleased with. 5 wins from 13 quarterfinals, and when he gets to the last 4, like you mentioned, he hasn't won. So that does need addressing if he is going to get one of these elusive European Tour titles for his CV.
Compare that with Andrew Gilding, whose hit rate in quarterfinals on the Eurotour is played to, won to.
And his semi-final hit rate is 50-50, which is not bad.
But Nathan has spoken recently about how he feels big stage games, doing them back-to-back multiple games in a day, he isn't that comfortable. He feels fine going for the first game, but it's about carrying on that level of performance. And this is from a guy who's won big stage titles with multiple games in a day. Did it in Vegas, did it at the UK Open. It's about time he started doing it in these sorts of events.
Do you know what, Dan? Sometimes you've got to do things in this sport that you're not comfortable with. If you don't like a certain format or indeed a tournament structure that just doesn't sit right with you. It's a bit like a golfer standing on the tee and they say that that hole doesn't fit their eye. If you slice the ball or get a little baby cut out of it and you've got a right to lefter, it just doesn't suit you, but you try and tailor your game to it as best you can.
60.
And we've seen from Damon Hedder already in this tournament that he's trying to cultivate something that removes pressure.
The 146 won't go for Gilding, but if he takes a chunk out of it, he's got a real chance of a breaker throw earlier on. And that is a chunk.
Nathan, you require 130.
This is a gettable chunk. Slightly awkward. Just a bit overzealous with dart 2.
65.
All he can do is halve the score.
64.
Interested to see where he throws here, Gilding, because he's going at 16s and going at 8s at different times. So I assume that's at the 8, and that'll leave tops, and he's been brilliant on tops this weekend.
24.
But misses it this time.
You require 65.
Yeah, good spot, Dan, because against Chisnall he hit treble 8, didn't he, on a 64? What a marker.
45.
You don't need me to tell you, everybody
40.
who's watching, how he felt about that one. That double top was bigger than it looks because of that marker. And he still missed it.
It's Andrew to throw first. Game on.
Early break for Gilding, who has got a couple of victories against, well, in fact, he's got 3 victories against Nathan. Beat him in a Players' Championship last year, played very well in the process, averaged more than 107. But Nathan has won the other meeting they had last year.
I saw something really adorable today, actually, when I was in the players' room.
Was it that guy?
No, it wasn't the guy trying to be Liam Gallagher from 1996. But I saw Andrew up in the players' room with his partner. And
95.
she's a dart player herself, plays for the county of Suffolk, I believe. And they were just sitting there, just taking it in. Andrew was in there in his dart shirt, and she was wearing one of the sponsor patches. She was just
59.
wearing her usual regalia, and she put one of the sponsor patches on the chest, and I thought, that's adorable.
Oh, maybe she's looking at putting an invoice for it.
But did you see the footage of when Andrew won the UK Open? His partner was on the way back home on a county darts bus, watching it on a tablet.
Yes, it was a raucous trip back, I understand, from that particular county game. And the celebrations continued for the rest of the week. So Andrew Gilding imbibing from the trophy itself.
And he invited quite a lot of Suffolk dart players along to have photos with the trophy, likes of Stephen Burton
57.
and some others. And they were all very, very happy for Andrew. But now, very much against the run of what us humans are supposed to do.
41.
He's going to get greedy.
134.
Nothing wrong with a bit of greed in professional sport. Aspinall is not playing well so far in this quarter-final. He needs to find something that is working, and judging by his facial expression, he is what looks like an angry emoji.
Well, Nathan Aspinall, who we've already detailed, knows that he struggles to play more than one big stage game a day, has started dreadfully in this, and he will be thinking, oh, it's happening again. And he needs to get out of that mode of thinking and get on with throwing some big scores. Because Andrew Gilding, who hasn't started well in this either, is just going to keep on doing what he does, and you would think his level will improve. Better from the Asp.
Nice and high here. Yeah, that'll do. Just wonder if he should have gone to the other side for the dart that he threw at the double. Double 2 to double the lead. You can see plenty of that over the top.
4.
He pulls it low.
Nathan, you require 20.
Well, leaves a little to be desired this game so far. But we do have a level game, and Nathan Aspinall can count himself a little fortunate to be one apiece.
In his 2 previous quarterfinals in European Tour darts, Andrew Gilding, like you mentioned, has won them both and has averaged 87 in beating Martin Schindler in Belgium. And at the Dutch Darts Championship, where he made the final, he beat Dirk van Dijvenbode, averaging over 104. And that was in front of Dirk's audience as well. That was an extraordinary display in Zwolle in the Netherlands.
Well, I mean, look, Nathan has had good performances in quarterfinals. It's not as if he can't play more than one big stage game in a day. And even in Gibraltar, in the last one of last year, he gave Michael van Gerwen a good run for his money, who averaged more than 103, close to 104. He was beaten 6-4, but he played well. Plays anything like that, I mean, he'd be 2-0 up in this game for a start.
But wasn't it 2019 where he played MVG in the quarters and he played exceptionally?
In Gibraltar?
Yeah.
He beat Peter, he actually beat MVG in the last 16, then beat Peter Wright in the quarters and only lost out to Dave Chisnell in the last leg decider in the
that was the
semis.
tournament that Ratajski won, right?
Yes. But he's a number of times, Nathan Aspinall has played good stuff in the quarters and the semis. It can be done. It's not happening right now.
But on the bright side, it could have been a lot worse. Got away with leg 2, and whatever was not working in the first couple of legs, he has the opportunity now in a best of 9 match to put it right.
He's one of those players, Nathan Aspinall, who seems to improve when the adrenaline is flowing, when he's fired up. But he needs to do something to get that happening. He can't just go up there and start screaming after hitting 26 and 60.
Well, if he was playing MVG or, say, a new Damon Header, it would be different because he might be getting fuel from his opponent. Playing Andrew's like playing a computer game on level 9.
77.
You're not going to get any adrenaline from the computer screen. Andrew plays placid, whether he's winning the UK Open or playing local stuff. It's just what he does. He's very hard to beat for that reason.
Looking to leave double 10 himself. Can't quite manage that, but Nathan Aspinall to go into the lead for the first time in this one.
Time will tell. And it looks pretty good. Not particularly happy with his performance, but now has a lead of 2-1, and double 10 is cooperating. You got yourself a signed set of Andrew Gilding darts yet?
No, not yet. Gonna
I'm
wait until he
shocked.
wins the Worlds.
Ah, I see.
Wait for the special edition Goldfinger.
What on earth could you do to an Andrew Gilding dart to make them more special? They're gold.
Yeah, that's true.
Are they going to have little diamonds in them?
Thumb-shaped flights. I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
Oh, don't give Peter Wright more ammunition to try something else. I think he's already tried everything.
Well, that's more like it. Andrew Gilding produces the thumb for the first time this evening.
And it's been getting higher as well. It's getting further over sea level when he celebrates it. I wonder what else he's going to do this season, because I'm sure there are plenty of darts fans out there who think nobody expected him to win the UK Open. I wonder if he'll win anything else this year. Can he maybe start his own little bingo card of things that he could win? A floor tournament, maybe a European Tour event, to give the PDC a massive headache when it comes to selection for things like the World Series.
Well, he's currently ranked 25 in the world, Andrew Gilding, despite picking up that major title and having won more money than anybody else so far this year since the World Championship. So he's still got some way to go to force his way into the very top echelon of the game.
Yeah, his match play race is very interesting, actually. We'll have a look at that in the next leg. But 76 for a level game, and it could be done rather sharply. 2 4s. Oh, right in the corner. That was perilously close to busting a shot, but even if he did, he was coming back. But that match play race, Dan, it's fascinating, because you think UK Open champion, he's already won over 100,000 points this year. Sure, he's going to be in the match play. He's not guaranteed at all, unless he's in the top 16. Getting there is going to be some sort of effort between now and then. For me, it's not going to happen. But he's number 11 out of 16 in the qualifying list. And there's a lot of tournaments between now and then.
Yeah.
What is really going to help him, though, is that he's got a couple of European Tour events coming up where he's a seed. So he'll only have to win one match
95.
to guarantee himself 4,000 points per tournament.
Yeah, it is that rule. If you're a seeded player, you have to win your opening game to get the money on your ranking. You still get the money in your account, but it doesn't go on your ranking.
28.
Now, it's a contentious rule. There are as many darts players who are for it as are against it. But it does mean that you can do all this great work to get yourself into the seeded positions, and then if you get a couple of brutal draws while you're a seed in your opening game and don't win either of them, you're getting less ranking money and chases for things like the match play than if you'd just come through the qualifiers. You'd have been better off playing in the qualifiers, doing it that way to get an extra grand or two.
Yeah, you could run into an unseeded player like Barry Van Peer, for instance, who was hating the fact that he was eliminated this afternoon after putting himself in a great position. Somewhat ironic celebration from Mr. 170, who this time doesn't take it out for a leg, but sets up a shot, and he's only 328 ahead.
Nathan Aspinall, furious that it's taken 5 legs to start finding the trebles. Gilding hits one, but not even down to a finish, so far behind was he. False start for Nathan, gets the job done. And this game is slowly getting towards the standards we kind of expected. They've dragged their averages out of the 70s into the 80s.
Yeah, they've gone up about 10 in the last couple of legs. So it's not quite that respectable yet, but it's en route to that. Now, Andrew is not only the only person left in this tournament who is trying to bolster a qualifying position for the World Match Play, he's also the only unseeded player left. The rest of the combatants are in the top 16 in the world, so we're not going to see a great deal of shift in the world rankings, but Andrew could affect, in quite a big way, his qualification for not just the match player, but indeed for a lot of other things this year if he goes deep today.
Nathan Aspinall hit his first 180. You saw from the reaction that might be
96.
the sort of thing that starts to ignite him. Start just getting his head together and playing the darts that we saw from him at times against Jim Williams for much of his Cameron Menzies match, his opening game this weekend. He's played some solid stuff without being at top level, but he's found some good stuff when he's needed it.
Andrew's a good test for people who like to play adrenaline-fueled games, like we mentioned.
83.
Just going off my own experiences, I can't mention Andrew, I'd never beat him. It was like playing a level 11. I only had 9 levels in my own game. But when I played Steve Beaton, I always struggled to play my own brand of almost excitable darts on stage. And I played him at the Grand Slam once. And I thought, I'm just going to give everything I've got here. Steve was giving me nothing back, but it was really hard to self-adrenalize, if that's a word.
Well, Andrew Gilding has just produced a magnificent setup shot. 162 to leave
and
tops.
you require 40.
Could have a level game.
Games on the stick leg.
We do. It's double top again for Gilding. And the last few legs, the quality has jumped up. After a couple of 19 darters to start this match, the legs have been won in 16, 15, 13 and 14 darts. It's much more like the contest we expected. Nathan Aspinall has woken up and Andrew Gilding is going with him, and this could turn into a really good game after a stodgy start.
And it is a sign also that the scoring has been so much better. The fact that the checkouts are quite small. 76, 40 and 40 for the last 3 legs. That means the scoring's good and the approach play is also good. Typified by that 162 approach from Andrew.
Yeah, magnificent.
Does anybody else in the tour card places play with a flight of that shape? I don't think they do. It's a very unique kite-shaped flight.
Is it a rigid one as well?
It's a moulded one, yeah. It's a pop-on. So
I'm not sure I've seen anybody with a rigid sort of kite-shaped flight like that.
Yeah, you don't see many players using the moulded kite, apart from Andrew. There's quite a few kite-shaped guys out there. Clayton, Noppert. But this guy has made these ones his own.
Well, for the best leg of the match, is he going 20 and ball? No, he's not. And I think that's the sensible play.
Didn't you tweet that earlier? During the Heta Dobie match?
It was the right shot from Damon Heta. And we'll get to that in a minute. In fact, we get to it now. Because Andrew Gilding, it's a very small chance that he takes out the 161. Yes, Damon Heta could have lost if Dobie had taken out a massive checkout. But he gave himself more chance of winning that leg and therefore the match by laying up instead of going for the ball. And he needed his third dart at double to win that game. Nathan Aspinall now gets 3 darts at a double of his choosing. And he's going to need all 3. And it turns out it was exactly the right decision to make.
8 leg is Andrew to throw first. Game on.
With that in mind, because I'm intrigued by that, I'm a somewhat old school type of player. I would have gone for the bullseye attempt, let's say. But then again, sitting in the commentary booth allows me to also learn about how the game evolves. You give someone, let's say in the top 32 in the world, 100 attempts at a 161, how many times do you think they'll hit it?
Well, I don't have the figures to hand. This has been done. And the probability of you winning a leg in 4 darts from 50, it improves if you don't go at the bullseye. And so you give yourself a bigger chance of taking that out. Now, there's always going to be a chance that they take out a 170 or a 161. But you can look to see what is the shot that makes it statistically better for you not to go for the ball. And when you do that, you can rule out things like 170, 161. 139 is a very difficult one, particularly if you're having to go for 2 separate trebles around the board.
Yeah.
And look, there may be different things. If you're playing Michael Van Gerwen and he's averaging 115 against you, maybe you do go for the shot.
It's a bit like when you are doing your driving lessons, your instructor is supposed to say to you, if you're going to pull out and you've got a very slow, small car coming your way, you've got more chance of getting out, but you don't take on a very nice, fast car that's coming your way. And you do have to monitor how well your opponent is playing in spots like that, which is why the Heta effort earlier was a bit gutsy, because Dobie wasn't playing poorly.
No, it was gutsy, but I will maintain that he made the right choice. And ultimately, Damon Heta is in the semi-finals to take on Michael Smith. And had he gone for the bullseye, he may not have been.
150.
Now, 150, staring at both of these players.
Might be different routes as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see Aspinall go for the 19s.
I'm pretty sure he will go for the 19s. It was the route he went when he took this out against Jim Williams earlier on. And it was a big, big shot. Crucial one. And he may do it again. He's got a chance. Double 18 for another 150 today.
140.
That would have been for a breakthrough as well.
53.
Not literally, but that could have broken Andrew's back. Double top. Very much still in this quarter-final is Goldfinger. Didn't somebody ask him recently if Goldfinger's his favourite Bond movie? And he said, no, it's not.
Do we know his favourite Bond movie?
I don't, actually. I'd love to ask him. I do like that Andrew has got his own image now, assisted by yourself over the years.
Oh, nothing to do with me. Look, the man has done all this himself. It's an incredible story.
I bet you've never seen him play county darts for Suffolk at the Burton Latimer Club against North Hanstow. I did once.
Well, and you are the envy of many a darts fan.
Ricky Evans is there too. He was playing for Northants that weekend.
What was his walk-on like? Good?
Silent, there was no music. And I believe he won the game averaging about 72.
140.
Right, this is getting to the nitty-gritty here. Nathan Aspinall trailed 1-0, but he has not, since levelling up, been behind at any stage of the match.
And
he hasn't left the finish. Gilding will fancy leaving a finish of some sort.
One of the best users of the treble 17 bed in World Darts. Whenever he uses it, it's always at the right time.
90.
That's a good save from Andrew. It doesn't get him to a finish, but keeps him in the hunt.
Well, the Aspinall fans keeping the faith, but it is being tested at the minute.
140.
There's a bit of a response from Aspinall.
And a little bit of self-motivation as well. That adrenaline just injects itself. And you can see in the background, he's just taking that deliberate, slow breath.
97.
And when you feel like you need a little bit of calmness, the way to do that is to not inhale slowly, it's actually to exhale slowly.
Great dart. And another great dart. That's an excellent leg from Nathan Aspinall because he was being pushed there by Andrew Gilding.
Yeah, it's not always about taking, you know, the 303s and the 302s in 6 darts. That was 204 in 5.
100.
The epitome of clinical right there. And after what we were given in the first 3 legs, it really has improved. It's turned into a decent performance.
96.
Yeah, well, the first 3-4 legs, they're averaging around about 80. They've dragged that up to 91, each of them. Now, that is a significant step up in quality as the game has gone on. You've seen both of them work their way into this game. But there's never been much between them. I mean, look, it probably deserves a final leg. Both had 11 darts at double.
I think based on his hit rate, if Aspinall can get one more leg, which is more likely with visits like that, which is his 3rd maximum of the match and his 8th of the tournament, if he gets through, regardless of who he plays in the semis, for me, he's the underdog because of the fact he's lost 5 semis in the past. And the fact that Humphreys and Cullen are in the other section in the bottom half of the draw.
Well, he's still got work to do. He has wrestled the advantage away from Gilding. Gamble paid off, leaves himself 85. Could have gone to the bullseye there, but he went for the treble. He had a marker, and it means he should get a match dart.
He was giving somebody daggers behind him.
140.
But now it should be daggers towards the board.
85.
Segment. He's going to go for it this time. And it leaves the bull. Match start. Nathan Aspinall pins it for a 6-4 win. The Asp is through to the semi-finals on the Eurotour for the 6th time in his career. Can he finally take another step and reach a final and maybe pick up his first European Tour title? Gilding is beaten, the Asp is through, and there's only one spot in the quarterfinals that remain. It'll go to either the 3-time Euro Tour winner Joe Cullen or the defending champion here in Munich, cool hand Luke Humphreys.
Die Asp, Nathan Aspinall zieht ins Halbfinale des Interwetten German Darts Grand Prix ein. Nathan, congratulations. It was a battle. If anybody heard that, apologies for the language. It was a battle, and especially the first half of the match was, I mean, you both were averaging around about 80 there. It wasn't a great start to the match, that's for sure.
Absolutely shocking. Awful game of darts. I dug deep, I did what I always do. I didn't give in that game, but yeah, I felt so good in the practice compared to this afternoon where I didn't feel good. I felt really good then. Walked on here, I don't know what happened, just absolutely shocking. Andrew's a fantastic player, won the UK Open in March. I knew he had to play well, but I don't know what happened. He didn't play well. I was horrific, but got the win. Nice little 12 darter to finish on the bull. But yeah, end of the day, that's past me now. I've won that game, which was absolutely horrific. But yeah, we move on, and semi-final later.
On the other hand, I said there in the first part you were both averaging around about 80. In the end, your average was 93.6. So what you did in the what you did in the second part wasn't that bad at all.
That just shows, don't look at averages, people. Like, that was higher than this afternoon. It's mental. But no, to be fair, I hit some good 180s at the right time. But I finished well again. You know, if you finish well, it doesn't matter about the scoring. If you score well, it makes your life a bit easier. If you're struggling to score, if you're finishing, you know, you can still win games. And I think I've done that the last 2 games, to be fair. There's a big performance to come. Hopefully I've saved it for later. But by the way, I've got to say, Kirsty, look at his outfit. Look, it's beautiful, isn't it?
I was going to mention it, actually. One more thing. This is your 6th European Tour semi-final coming out. So far, you've lost all 5 that came before. No worries, Nathan, no worries. So, I mean, maybe tonight's the night where it finally happens.
I think it will. You know, I've looked around. There's a load of kids here with my shirts on. These kids here, you know, they cheer me on. There's a few middle-aged guys with my shirts on, you know. Get a life. But nah, there's a lot of fans here for me this weekend, and I'm hoping that I can go one further than I've been so far and win this next game. It's going to be tough. Either, you know, well, I'm good pals with both Joe and Luke. It's going to be a tough game we ever play, but hopefully they come out on top, and you know, it could be a me Smithy final maybe, or me Damon, I don't know, but we'll enjoy it. We'll go back, we'll put some practice in now, and come back and hopefully put a better performance in.
Nathan, best of luck in these semi-finals, and hi Kirsty. Ladies and gentlemen, Nathan Aspinall.